Hi, Jeannel King here with Big Picture Solutions, and today I'd like to share a tip with you for how to work visually in your next meeting that comes from Scott Matthews with X-Plane. And this technique is called an empathy map, and it's something I use all the time with people. It's such a powerful tool, and it's so simple to put together. It'll only take your team maybe 15 minutes to run through this exercise, and it's a great way to put yourself inside the head of a person you may be looking at as a prospective customer, as a target market, if you are designing a product for an end user. Anytime you really need to get in someone's head and understand their experience and understand where they're coming from, try doing this empathy map exercise and see how it works for you. It's really simple to put together. You're going to need a piece of paper. I've got flip chart paper going. You're going to need a pen, and if you're working with a team, you may want to have some post-it notes on hand so they can contribute too. Here's how you do it. Your empathy map starts with a circle that you create into a head, and it has these lines branching off. And the first step that you're going to do is figure out who it is you really want to get into the head of. So if you are creating a new product, perhaps it's going to be that ideal user of that product. So let's say your ideal person's name is Joe. And Joe is Joe's a business, he's a mid-level manager. So let's say he's a mid-level manager. By giving him a name and giving him a title, it starts making him someone you can relate to. But don't stop there. I mean, you've got this head. Let's make Joe actually look like a mid-level manager. So perhaps he wears a tie, and perhaps he's in his late 40s. So he's got, perhaps the late 40s hairdo going. He's got his collared shirt. He knows how to dress for his mid-level manager position. So now we're really kind of starting to create Joe. We can see Joe. And the next thing we want to do is put ourselves in Joe's day from his perspective. So we're going to think about, what is it that he sees during the day? What is it that he says during the day? What is it that he hears? What does he think? How does he feel? And what does he do? So what we'll do is we'll take some time thinking about, okay, Joe, he's our mid-level manager, and he gets up in the morning, and what does he see? And this is a great thing for your team to work with those post-it notes and start brainstorming. Oh, he's going to see, okay, he lives in a house. He has a family. He's married, so he's going to see a bunch of kids running around in the morning and some chaos, and maybe the house is a little bit messy because both of he and his spouse work, and perhaps he's engaging in some chit-chat but not really being able to sit down and have a conversation, and so he's feeling kind of sad about that and feeling kind of pressured. And he's hearing his kids say, "Dad, don't forget, I've got my baseball practice after school today." And he's thinking, "Oh man, how am I going to make it to that? I've got meetings stacked up until 8 o'clock tonight. I don't know how I'm going to do it." And then he drives to work, and he sees a lot of traffic, and he's hearing news talk radio on his commute, and he's talking to the barista at the drive-through coffee shop, and he's thinking to himself about all the things he has to do today. And he's writing out lists in between traffic, and he's checking his emails on his smartphone in between stoplights, and he's already starting to feel stressed out about what's happening in his day. And he arrives at work, and he sees all of his his coworkers running around, and he sees his team, and he pulls them together for a meeting, and he tells them whatever it is that he needs to say, and he's thinking about whatever projects need to happen. You guys get the idea. So you're going to walk through his entire day from his perspective, thinking about all the things that he sees, he says, he hears, he thinks, he feels, he does. And you may even start to discover that there are some other things that come up, like, he wants things. It's not just him that he feels something. There are pieces that might start to emerge for you that start showing some insight into the things that he really dreams about or he really longs for. And I realize that this exercise is not rooted in research on your client or on your market, but it pulls together all the information that your team has in its head about that target market or about that end user, and it puts it together in a way that you can relate to. So if you were thinking about a project for your product for your mid-level manager that would require him to jump through lots of hoops, and you see his day is spent jumping through lots of hoops, that may not be the best approach. So what is it that would really speak to him and really meet his needs and his wants and his desires so that he would choose you over anybody else for whatever service or product we're talking about? So it's a cool project. It works doing this by yourself. It works doing this with teams. I've done this with adults. I've done this with high school students and ninth graders working on marketing projects. It works. Just next time you're in a meeting and you need to understand that target market, bring in a pen, bring in your paper, bring in a stack of Post-it notes, and let them know that this marketing meeting isn't going to be like the usual ones. It's going to be a little bit more visual. This is Jeannel King with Big Picture Solutions signing off.